things that we have been through all these 15 days and give you some explanations so we wrap up what we have done up to now. Some of you have been working really hard, some of you didn't have the opportunity to practice on these things, but keep on reinforcing the theory. It's very important for the water session as well. So this is an optimist, okay? In 1940 something, a long time ago, after the war, in the USA, there was a guy called Clark Mills, where he thought that he had to do something interesting for the children. The children in this period of time were poor because of the war. Some of them, they had lost their parents, so he wanted to entertain them. So he thought, so this period of time, they had a lot of coffins. You know what a coffin is. So he thought, okay, let me take a coffin like this, and then put a wooden mast, a sprit, and a piece of cloth, and I have a sailing boat. So as the time was passing, these coffins with the sails, they became very popular, and the kids liked them, and they were getting more and more. And then they decided to build the first wooden boats, but they decided that because they wanted to honor this guy, Clark Mills, not to change the shape of the boat. So the boat has the shape of a coffin. And they decided that the bow will be the most interesting bow of all the sailing boats. So all the sailing boats, from the smallest one to the biggest one, except from the Optimist, they have a sharp bow to cut the waves, but the Optimist, not. So the bow of the Optimist is like a brake. Every time that the bow touches the water or you hit a wave, it's like pushing the brakes in your bike. So imagine having a race from here down there with your bikes, and ever since then, pressing the brakes of your bike. Will you going to win? No chance. So our target, building our technique, is to put ourselves in a way that we will keep the bow always out of the water. Okay? So the other thing that is strange with the Optimist is that the sail is the further forward of every sailing boat. So all the boats, they have a little bit of space and then it's the sail, but not in the Optimist. So what is happening is that if this is my boat, when a gust hits my boat, I'm not only heeling to leeward, but also forwards. So if we want to keep the boat flat and keep all the powers neutral, we have to pull diagonally back and not only out. So out and back. Okay? So, India, can you help me please? Yeah. So when we are sailing upwind, it's a very good thing to do is to have the tiller extension on the hand, on the legs, okay? The main seat like a microphone between the legs, okay, there, and looking always forward, and if some pressure comes to the boat, to do this. In this way, we don't only lift the bow up, but also we keep the boat flat, okay? That's why I keep on asking to do this. Depending on the strength of the gust, depends how much out we are going to go. Even if we are hiking, even if we are hiking and we are like this, if you see some photos of very good sailors, they are doing that, to lift the bow out of the water. This is the main reason why I ask you to sit down, why I ask you also, when you go on reaching or downwind, to twist your knees facing forward, because you don't need to hike in downwind, so it's much easier if you lean back to lift the bow out of the water. Okay? Clear? Perfect. And you turn the camera off. The other important thing about the Optimist is that in the Optimist class, it's the only class around the world where the boys and the girls, because they are young in age, they can compete fairly. If you go to the 420s or 470s, it's always that the boys are stronger, and if in a strong breeze, you cannot go as a girl cannot go, unfortunately, as fast as a boy because of the weight, because of the strength, because from everything. In the Optimist class, we can have one sailor that he is almost in my height, another sailor that he is way smaller, and they can be going the same speed in all weather conditions. This is the magic of the Optimist. But, okay, thank you. But you have to adjust your rig settings and your technique for your weight. It's not the same technique a tall guy is using comparing with a small guy. Okay? Unfortunately, for all my sailing career, because I was small, I was always using a small guy's technique. Okay? So let's see in very light weather conditions, knees down. In very light weather conditions, if you are a small guy, you can sit by your knees here, close to the dagger, it's fine, don't move. Yeah, close to the daggerboard case so you keep the boat flat. If you feel some pressure on your boat, the only thing that you have to do is press your shoulders out on the rail. Is that okay?
Yes.
So if you press your shoulders out on the rail, yes. And then what you have to do is hold the tiller from there, tiller extension all the way back, and put the tiller extension down, not in your face, down, yes. Then, when you are sitting in this position, you can have your hand as close as you can to the ratchet block, so you can play a little bit with the ratchet block. So this is the movement of the upper body when it's very light. This is for a light sailor. Can you come out, please? Jesse, if Jesse tries to sit here, because he is a bit heavier, what will happen is that the stern of the boat will be like this, and the boat will not be flat. Okay? So when we want a flat boat, we want it to be flat here, but also flat from bow to stern. So the adjustment on Jesse for light wind is this. He sits here, yes, as far close as he can to the daggerboard case, and the back knee is at the bottom of the boat. He still holds the tiller, and he still leans back. He can have also the main seat here. So this is it. So if he feels the pressure, he presses the back out by leaning back. So this is the difference between a small sailor and a bit heavier sailor, grown up, okay? So, thank you. George, can you come please? So a small sailor, when the wind, get in. Come on, quickly. So a small sailor in light wind, get the light wind position, light wind, knees down, yes. What we can do, because it hurts a little bit to go by the knees down, we can put the knees on the hiking straps. It feels a bit better, okay? But look George, he's making a common mistake. Look how far back he has gone. You know how big difference is in the performance? It's huge difference. So make sure that you are all the way forward, okay? So this is super light weather conditions, Ticom. We feel a bit of pressure. Pressure, pressure. We lay on the rail. Then, if we feel more pressure, we are sitting on the rail. Because we are going upwind, the knees are together and facing to the other side of the boat. Is that right?
Yes.
If we feel more pressure because we need to be well attached with the boat, our front foot goes under the hiking strap and the back foot is like this. So if the pressure is coming and going, which is very common for our lake, we have the front foot to be able to hold ourselves out, and the back foot to use it to push ourselves in case the wind drops. Okay? So front and back foot, knees together, main seat between your legs. Is that right? Another thing is that we must always hold the tiller extension from the end, and if we can, touching the stomach. I've seen many of you doing this common mistake, holding the tiller extension like this. If you hold the tiller extension like this, you are unable to stabilize the rudder. If you put a small angle to the tiller extension, you know, it's much easier for you. Okay? Then, when the wind picks up more and we have both our feet under the hiking straps, under, yes, under the hiking straps, this is the sitting position, and we are leaning back. For what reason? Bow out. So back, back. Okay? Great. This is the sitting positions for light, medium and strong weather conditions, and the difference between the grown-ups and the small sailors. Is this right? Is this clear?
Yeah.
Perfect. Can you get out, please? Are we ready? Perfect. So, in tacking and jibing, for us, for the coaches, it's much easier if we put steps. Step number 1, step number 2, because if we see a nice tack, we realize that everything went smoothly and it's a nice tack. But if we see a tack that is not looking great, we must go back and see what was the problem. If you come and tack in front of me and you ask me how was my tacking, and I tell you it wasn't that good, I have to identify in which area it wasn't good. So that's why we are using the steps of the tack. This doesn't mean that we have to move like robots. The tack has to flow. The steps is just for the mind and to start working with. It doesn't mean that when I say step number 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. So it has to flow. We don't have to stop it. Okay? I know that you find it funny, but this is happening on the water. And this is because I didn't have the time to mention that the tack has to flow. The tack has to go like this, easily, from the one side to the other. Anyway, so the steps of the tack are, can you sit more forward? Hold the main seat, please. Microphone. Like, this is a very common mistake that you do. When you are holding the main seat and the thumb is down, it's not good. You cannot play with your main seat like this. Thumbs must always be up, up, thumbs up, and the main seat like a microphone. Okay? So, step, keep your knees together. Tiller extension here. Okay, step number 1, we're holding the tiller extension from the end. To make sure that we do that, we can put the thumb like this. Okay? Step number 2 is we are pushing the rudder. Look, the arm is straight. A very common mistake, George, is that when you are pushing the rudder, you have your hand up there, and you reduce the amount of rudder you use. If you put this down, then you can lean back. Okay, so step number 2 is knees facing forward, arm straight, pushing the rudder, and squeezing the sail in. Okay? Step number 3 is we put our hand on the daggerboard case. Another common mistake is this. Keep your knees facing forward. Step number 4 is we are using the legs to go to the other side, and we are grabbing the rail. Go grab the rail and use your legs. Perfect. This is step number 4. Step number 5, change our hands and twist your knees back again. Fantastic. So, tiller extension, knees, straight arm, squeeze the sail in, daggerboard case, go to the other side, sit down, and then change your hands. Clear? Perfect. Who wants to do the jibe? Tikom wasn't here the last time. So the jibe has one step less than the tack. It's a bit easier. So as we go downwind, how are the knees? Where are the knees facing forward? Perfect. A small detail about downwind that I didn't tell you. No. When we are sailing downwind, according to the length of our arm, either we are holding the tiller extension from the middle, if we are small, the arm is short, or if we are tall and we have the arm, we hold it from there, but never from here, because you cannot control your boat if you are holding the tiller extension from the middle. So either from the middle if you are small, or from here. And always with an angle, not like this, with an angle. Okay? So this is for steering in downwind. So step number 1, what do we don't want when we jibe or when we are doing maneuvers in the boat is to stand up in the boat, because we lose the stability. So we always want to stay low and from one side to sit to the other. Okay? So step number 1, we pass our back leg at the other side of the boat as far forward as we can. No one is looking. As far forward as we can. Step number 2 is the tiller extension goes there. Step number 3 is we hold all the mainsail together and we bear away. Step number 4, we go to the other side and we sit down first and then we change the hands. Yes.
The falls over.
Sorry?
So you need to pull the falls over when you...
The mainsail,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
pulling the mainsail.
When
Yes.
when you're
This is step number 3, all the mainsail together. We are not doing this kind of jive because we cannot control the sail. Okay? Is that alright? Perfect. So this was it. You go get changed and then we go